What's up, people? What up? What's up? What up, people? Inviting the followers already. How you guys doing, man? What's up for a Periscope to start the week out? How y'all doing? How was the weekend? Yo, Titan, what up, man? Real quick, man, before we get into this great week that everyone is about to have, I want to do a quick scope. I want to tell everyone about my first deal, talk about persevering. Last scope we did, if you guys can, man, just go ahead and introduce yourself, whether you're a newbie or a vet. And also, man, share this with your followers. Check in, guys. Where you guys checking in from? We got newbies, we got vets. Who's in here? Rosie, what's up? Awesome. Eric, yeah, I'm gonna tell you guys about my first deal. I think it may inspire someone who's searching to get to that first deal, right? Yo, Jonathan, what's up, man? A-Town in the building, LA in the building, got Cali, Columbia, Dallas. All right, cool, man. I appreciate it, man. Make sure you guys keep sharing this. Real quick, I'm gonna go over 3 things. Tell you guys about my first deal. We're gonna try to, keep this under that 15, 20-minute thing there. New York in the building. Okay. North Carolina. All right. So I want to go over my first deal. Give you guys some things that I definitely feel and encourage you. Second is talking about the screen share we're gonna have on Monday. I'm going to show you guys everything you need to do to go to a courthouse. After this screen share, you will know what to do at the courthouse, who to ask for, what to ask for, the documents. On this screen share, we're going to show you guys a picture of the documents that you're looking for, all right? So we're having a screen share Monday. We already have a lot of people that's registered for the screen share. So I'm going to go over a little bit of that and try to keep it under a timetable. And then last, I'm going to talk about some of the events you guys might see me at. And I was actually at Ramon Tooks. He had a book signing. One of the investors here in Atlanta had a book signing Friday. I went out to it, man. I really don't get out, not to a lot of, investors meetings because I'm so busy doing the work that I do. But, sometimes I try to get out. I'm still like a little social kind of, what's the word? Uncomfortable a little socially. But either way, so let's talk about my first deal. All right. So, for whoever doesn't know who I am, my name's Calvin Burnett. I am the president and co-founder of Millennial Investment Group. We are a local wholesaling company in Atlanta, Washington, D.C., Nashville, Tennessee. We do over 100,000 a year. Just to give you guys numbers of last year, we've been doing it for 2 years now. This is our first deal. Our first deal came in 2013. I'm gonna tell you guys about it. All right. So when I first started, my first thing I was trying to figure out how, when I got on the phones, I told you guys my fear for 6 years was getting on the phone and talking to people. So once I was able to, get on the phone and overcome that fear, then, I started talking to people. But one of the hardest things, and you guys may be facing this right now, is to get around all the professionals, all the real estate agents, all the other wholesalers and investors, right? To get around them and get to a seller, right? You're calling about deals, but it's somebody else's deal, or, the agent's already got it, this and that. So, I was having that problem trying to get around the investors and the other professionals once I started making phone calls. I had one investor who wanted me to find leads or deals for him. So I started working with him like, all right, what can I do to find deals for you? I want to get around these sellers. So, he told me to go door knock. I knocked on some short sales doors, didn't have any success. And then he told me about the probate court. All this came about because I got on the phone and started talking to people. So I go to the probate court, and, over the phone, he kind of instructs me on what to do, and I'm doing my best off of what he's saying. But man, it takes me like 20 minutes to find a phone number, right? So I find the phone number, and, you can see me, I'm just like this. I'm a kid in the candy store, like, oh shoot, these are the sellers. This is who I need to talk to, So, I'm writing down phone numbers. Like, I cannot wait to get home so I can start dialing phone numbers, right? So this is where perseverance comes in. The people I'm calling, I did not know what to say to them. I'm just calling, before I dialed the phone first number, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, dang, the phone's ringing, but what am I going to say? I didn't think of anything until I got that phone number and started dialing. So perseverance. I got so many no's, right? I started calling and I got so many no's. Everybody's telling me no because I'm saying everything that you should not say. But what started happening is I started feeling like, or I started taking the no's as good things, right? Instead of getting mad every time. We're still looking for team members. I'm gonna talk about that tech. But every time I would make a call and someone would get mad at me, I hang it up real quick. All right, thanks. Next one, right? I started feeling like every no was good because I'm getting closer to that yes, and all I need is one yes. I don't need 10 yeses. I just need one, right? So, to overcome it, I had to think different. I couldn't think that, man, I keep getting no's, this is not going to work out, or man, I don't know what to say to him. Maybe I need to figure out what I'm going to say to him and don't call anyone until I figure it out. I didn't take that as it. I said, okay, this person said no, that's good because now I don't have to call him anymore. Let me get to the next one, and then let me get to the next one until I found that one that was ready. Now, my first deal, I called a guy. He was not related to the person who passed away. He was, he worked as what do you call him? Like pet control or something like that, right? And he helped this lady out during her later years in life. So, the family members, she had 2 kids that didn't want to deal with the whole situation, right? So he's just trying to pay off her debts and put something in the kid's pocket. And, I call him and I'm like, I'm talking to him. He's like, yeah, well, somebody else just offered me $240,000. Now, remember, guys, I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm like, well, okay, so do you, if I can get you guys more, are you ready to sell it? He's like, yeah, I mean, you bring me $245,000, we can do it. I'm like, okay, so, where do you want me to meet you? You can meet me at the house tomorrow, right? So all this time, I did not have an agreement. I did not know what I was supposed to be getting signed with him. I didn't know how I was going to resell it. He was asking $240,000. I don't have $240,000, but you would have never guessed that I didn't, because I knew I was going to figure it out, right? So, long story short, I meet him at the property. I had a 14-page agreement that my agent gave to me earlier that day. I didn't even have time to read over it. So basically, any questions he asked, I said, yeah, my agent will be able to go over that. Just initial right there and sign right there and initial right there and sign right there until the whole agreement was signed. And we locked that property up for $250,000, right? And that was I left my job September 17th. I got my first contract signed October 31st. So it took me a little over a month to get my first contract signed. We resold that contract to a buyer for $290,000, and I paid my agent who found that buyer, I paid her $10,000 just for finding the buyer. So if you do the math, $250,000 is what we got the agreement for. $290,000 is what we, signed with the buyer for, paid the agent $10,000. So we made $30,000 on our first deal, right? And I would have never got to that deal had I not changed my way of thinking to overcome the obstacles that were in my way, right? I did not know what to say to these people, but I didn't let that stop me. I just kept going, and then I took no's as a good thing, right? Mindset. Exactly, Lance. It's mindset. Now, 2 years later, I know exactly what to say to these people because I never stopped. After that one, now I will tell you, after that first deal, we closed that early of 2014. It took us almost a whole nother year. We didn't get our next deal done, which was $23,000 on the second deal. We didn't get that done until November. So all of that time was, persevering. We didn't know the process. We're trying to, we basically found out that first deal we got lucky, and it's good to get lucky on your first deal, but soon after that first deal, you'll realize that it was just luck because now you have to replicate it over and over and over again, right? So that's my first deal, guys. My first deal took about 2 months, and we made $30,000 on our first deal, and that was like 2 months after I left after I left my last job at Saks Fifth in Washington, D.C. So that's perseverance, guys. Find a way to look at it different. Don't take your obstacles or your objections as something that you can't overcome. Just figure out a different way to look at it. You feel me?